Okay, let's just jump right in. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Hey there.
Today we're focusing on someone we all feel like we know pretty well, right? The comedian and actor Andy Samberg.
hmm From, SNL's digital shorts all the way to Jake Peralta in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like a defining comedic voice for a lot of us.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Mm.
But lately he's been trending online for reasons that have almost nothing to do with his actual work.
Right. And that's what we've been digging into. We've got a whole collection of sources, some resurfaced interviews, a bunch of fan threads, and just a lot of social media buzz.
And it's all focused on these two, like, incredibly specific and personal facts about him.
Yeah. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear.
Mm.
We're pulling out the most interesting, sort of overlooked nuggets about his identity that are really catching fire online right now.
And there are two big ones. First, this really fascinating story about a name change at a very, very young age.
And second, this completely bizarre and long-running saga involving his rivalry with, well, with a non-human.
It's just the perfect example of how celebrity works now, isn't it? You think you know someone from their movies or their shows.
Oh, yeah. But public curiosity always pulls you deeper into these little personal histories. And these facts, they really do add this unexpected layer to who he is.
Okay, so let's get into the first one, because this is really the one that kicked off the whole recent conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes from this 2016 interview that's suddenly everywhere again. And the big reveal is that Andy Samberg was not born Andy.
That's the headline fact. But what makes it so much more than just, a simple stage name is how it happened. The sources are clear. He legally changed his name to Andy.
Legally.
Yeah.
That's the key. This wasn't just a nickname that he decided to use as an adult.
No, it was an official, codified choice.
And here's the part that is it's breaking people's brains online, the timeline. This legal change happened when he was just 5 years old.
5.
I mean, think about that. That choice about who he is, his foundational identity, was locked in before he was even in kindergarten.
It just completely changes the conversation, doesn't it? Because when you hear about a celebrity name change, you assume it's for their career.
Right. They do it in their 20s to sound more Hollywood or avoid having the same name as another actor.
Exactly. But Sandberg's situation, this suggests something else entirely, an identity choice made at the earliest possible moment.
But the sources also point out this this crucial missing piece of the puzzle.
Oh, yeah, his birth name.
It has never been made public.
Yeah.
And that's where all the speculation is coming from. People are asking why.
I mean, if you've got a kid at 5 years old who is that insistent on a new name, or the parents are that supportive of it, it means the name Andy wasn't an accident. It was a really determined early choice.
So what does that tell us about him? How does that connect to the comedian we know now?
Well, I think it gives this incredible context for his whole brand of comedy, especially the stuff with the Lonely Island. It's all built on these hyper-specific, chosen identities.
Have very absurd ones.
Exactly. Or think about Jake Peralta. The character is so intentionally constructed. He's a performance of a certain kind of person.
So you're saying this really early choice, changing his name way before he had any reason to, professionally,
Mm.
it sort of hints at a lifelong habit of building his own reality.
I think so. It's like the name itself was his first piece of performance art.
Yeah.
He didn't just inherit his public identity. He chose the most fundamental part of it himself, and he did it remarkably early. It adds a whole other layer when you watch his comedy, which is all about the fun of choosing who you want to be.
Even if that choice is completely ridiculous.
That's the hallmark of his success, intentional absurdity.
Wow. Okay, that actually gives the whole name thing some real weight.
It does.
So let's pivot now from a deep and early identity choice to a hilarious and ongoing choice of enemy.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
We have to talk about the topic that's generating maybe even more buzz online, the feud with the dog.
The feud that proves comedy has absolutely no limits.
Right.
We're talking about Andy Samberg versus Frisbee, the now-deceased dog of his good friend Seth Meyers.
It's just such a great bit. And it wasn't a one-off joke, right? This was an established conflict that went on for years.
Years. Samberg would consistently and very publicly maintain this, high-key but totally absurd dislike for this dog.
Myers would talk about Frisbee on his show or bring him out, and Samberg would just launch into this monologue of mock disgust.
And what's great looking at the source material are the specifics of the jokes. He wasn't just like, oh, I don't like dogs.
Yep, no.
He would joke about Frisbee being aggressively needy or having bad manners. He treated the dog like an annoying celebrity rival that he had to put up with.
That's it. Treating the dog as a rival is the key to the whole joke. Frisbee wasn't a pet. He was a character in this shared universe they created.
Mm-hmm. And that's why this whole saga suddenly became super relevant again when Myers announced that Frisbee had passed away.
The online reaction was immediate.
Incredible. You look at the sources, especially the comments on Myers' Instagram, and right alongside the genuine condolences, it was just flooded with jokes about Samberg.
The entire fan base knew. They knew this was the final sad chapter of this shared story.
And one joke in particular just took over.
The one that's everywhere.
Yeah.
The idea that Frisbee's ghost will haunt Andy Samberg. Why do you think that specific joke was the one that stuck?
It's the perfect ending, isn't it? It's the comedic capstone. Because the ghost joke makes the rivalry eternal.
Oh, right. It never ends.
Exactly. It gives the audience a sense of closure, but it does it by making sure the conflict can never truly be over. Samberg is now, like, forever stuck in this bit. He has to keep up the performance of being annoyed, even with an ethereal rival.
It really just shows how deep these meta-narratives go for that whole SNL generation.
Yeah.
They build these little universes, and the audience wants them to live in them forever.
And it all connects back to the name change in a weird way.
Yeah.
There's a chosen identity, and he has these chosen manufactured conflicts. He's a master of the bit that goes beyond the stage.
Okay, we should probably ground this conversation for a minute. Because while all these biographical tidbits and dog feuds are trending,
Right.
Samberg's actual career is still going strong. And sometimes these personal stories can overshadow the work, but he is still very, very active.
Absolutely. And that professional context is important. While everyone's talking about his name from childhood, he's making some pretty big moves, especially in animation.
Let's talk about the big one that the sources keep bringing up, his role in K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
For anyone listening who might not be deep in the animation world, what is this project and why is it a big deal for his fans right now?
So K-pop Demon Hunters is this upcoming animated movie that's getting a ton of attention. It basically blends two massive cultural forces, K-pop and, fantasy action animation.
And Samberg is voicing a major character.
A major character. And the sources emphasize this isn't just some quick voiceover gig. It's a continuation of his move into producing and starring in big animated projects like he did with Hotel Transylvania.
So it's a strategic career move.
I'd say so. His involvement shows he's still a huge get, especially in a genre that fits his high-energy, absurd style so perfectly. And the creative team on this is known for pushing boundaries.
So he's aligning himself with innovative projects.
Exactly. Artistically ambitious, but still really broad and fun.
So, just to sum that up, he's actively making headlines for serious professional work, a major animated film, huge global audience.
Yeah.
And at the exact same time, he's making headlines for something he did when he was 5. And for hating his friend's dog.
And that's the modern celebrity package right there. His fans are pumped about K-pop Demon Hunters, which is forward-looking, but they're just as excited to unpack the history of his life.
He's relevant as both a creator and a biographical subject.
A strange one at that. The name choice, the dog feud. It all provides this weird human context for his professional success.
It really paints a picture of someone who's always been incredibly intentional about who he is.
Yes.
Whether it's choosing the name Andy at 5 or choosing to make a beagle his comedic nemesis for a decade.
That intentionality is the thread that ties it all together. It's a really deep insight into his public identity. The persona we see, this joyful, self-aware, slightly ridiculous comedian, seems to be something he started consciously building a very, very long time ago.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've done this deep dive into what's trending about Andy Samberg, and we've pulled out these 2 core facts.
The legal name change as a child, and the unique, ongoing, even post-mortem rivalry with Frisbee the dog.
And what this really shows us is that even with celebrities we feel we know so well, there are always these surprising choices and hidden histories waiting to be found.
Right. The fan base isn't just a passive audience anymore. They're actively piecing together the person behind the work, and they're often focused on these stories of identity and choice.
The persona is always more complex than you think, and sometimes it's self-chosen.
Precisely. And that brings us to a final provocative thought for you to sort of mull over on your own.
Okay.
Given how complicated identity is, what kind of self-knowledge or stability would it take for someone to decide on a new identity and have it legally cemented at just 5 years old? Does that incredibly early choice maybe suggest a unique perspective on the power we all have to determine who we are?
Something to think about the next time you hear a truly weird celebrity story. It might just be the beginning of a very long, very intentional joke. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.